Hey there, Magic players. Barry White here from Magic Untapped, at Sacto Gamer for me, at Magic_Untapped on Twitter for, well, Magic Untapped. We're going to do a pack opening again, although this time we're going to do an old starter deck. This one would be from Champions of Kamigawa. Now, Champions of Kamigawa has a number of pretty good value cards. Top of the list is Azusa Lost But Seeking, which is $37 at the time of filming here. Other ones that are pretty high on the list, $35 for Sensei's Dividing Top. Marunauer is $24. Manamo Schools at Water's Edge is $22. Bosiju, Who Shelters All, is $18.5, and so on. So there are some pretty good things that we can snag out of this. Now, this starter deck of Champions of Kamigawa I picked up at Magic Fest Reno for right around $30. So we'll see how we do and see what we get. Alright, go ahead and open it up here, get the cellophane off. I do kind of miss when Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro would release products like this. These old starter decks, which were 5-color, all color. They weren't exactly playable out of the box. They're almost like 3 booster packs put together with some basic lands thrown in. It's more of a, not so much a deck starter deck as it is a collection starter deck. But you can see we have the basic lands, a bunch of basic lands here. There you go. Also comes with a Champions of Kamigawa little pamphlet. Tells you about the Legend Rule, Arcane, Soul Shift. Basically a Cliff Notes guide to how to play with the Champions of Kamigawa cards. Now go and take a look. Now there's typically 3 rares. I want to say, I'm going off memory here, 9 uncommons I think, and the rest are commons. And because there's so many, we're just gonna kind of zoom right through the commons and see what all we have. Desperate Ritual, that's a nice one. There are some nice commons in this set. There really are. Some of them have seen print in other places, and some of them see play in a nice variety of decks, modern and legacy alike. Of course, back when this was in standard, they all saw play more or less. No Death Curse Ogre there. Burgrafter. Now this is a spirit which has, if you know, Soul Shift 3. And the way Soul Shift works, it says that when the creature is put into a graveyard from play, you may return target spirit card with converted mana cost of 3 or less from your graveyard to your hand. So it's a spirit recursion, essentially, is what that is and how that works. There are different Soul Shifts. I believe they go up to 7, I think, 6 or 7. Of course, they go as low as, I believe, 1. But it just never really caught on, the Soul Shift thing, partially because the Soul Shift creatures are overcosted to begin with, and just wasn't a whole lot of draw to it. You've noticed that some of these are also arcane spells, and arcane is unique to Kamigawa. It's kind of considered a parasitic ability at this point because they haven't really done much with arcane since, but there's an ability called Splice, and you can splice one card onto another arcane card. For example, Lava Spike here, which is a pretty solidly played card in Modern and in Legacy. It is 1 red for 3 damage. It's a sorcery arcane, and if we pull a Splice card, I'll show you how that works as well. If we pull, here we go. So here we have one right here, Kodama's Might, which says Splice and Arcane. So you can pay green. As you play an arcane spell, such as that Lava Spike, you may reveal this card from your hand, pay its splice cost, in this case green. If you do, add this card's effect to that spell. So we'll pull it up here. So you would play the Lava Spike for 1 red. You would pay a green, so now you're spending 1 red, 1 green to add Kodama's Might's text, rules text more or less, onto it. So suddenly you go from a Lava Spike, which is 1 red for 3 damage, to a Lava Spike with Kodama's Might, which is red-green, which says deals 3 damage to target player and target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. It's actually a really interesting mechanic. It's kind of neat seeing these cards. You can combo them together to make almost brand new cards, but it's just never really caught on, was never really all that well received overall. People were just opting to play the arcane spells without arcane really mattering. So that's pretty much what happened there. Should be getting to the uncommons here pretty soon. Oh, and here we go, our first uncommon, Honden of Seeking Winds, which is one of a cycle of legendary shrine enchantments. This one reads, for blue and 4, at the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card for each shrine you control. So there were shrines for each color. And they all counted each other when they did their abilities. Shrine Tribal, if you would. 5-color Shrine Tribal. Next one, Blind with Anger, 3 in red. An instant arcane. Untap target non-legendary creature and gain control of until end of turn. That creature gains haste until end of turn. See many variations on that. Here we have a Soratami Seer, blue and 4 for a 2/3 flyer with the ability 4. Return 2 lands you control to their owner's hand, discard your hand, and then draw that many spells. Or that many cards, rather. Our next uncommon is a Hanakami, which is a 1/1 for 1 green. That reads, green and 1, sacrifice Hanakami, return target arcane card from your graveyard to your hand. Some pretty trippy art there by Rebecca Guai. Very talented artist, Rebecca. Next we have Petals of Insight, which is blue and 4 for an arcane sorcery. Reads, look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may put those cards on the bottom of your library in any order. If you do, return Petals of Insight, rather, to its owner's hand. Otherwise, draw 3 cards. So you can scry, essentially. It's a really loose scry, but essentially you look at your top 3 and you can either get Petals of Insight back or you can take those 3 cards. More or less, what that says. Or 3 different cards, I suppose, if you put them on the bottom. Next one here, Guardian of Solitude, blue and 1 for a spirit. It's a 1/2 that says whenever you play a spirit or arcane spell, target creature gains flying until end of turn. And now Soil Shaper, which is a 1/1 for green and 1 that reads whenever you play a spirit or arcane spell, target land becomes a 3/3 creature until end of turn. It's still a land. Okay, now we move to Nezumi Bone Reader, which is black and 1. It's a creature, rat shaman, a 1/1. With the rules text black, sacrifice a creature, target player discards a card. Play this ability only anytime you could play a sorcery. And let's see, we're getting right up to the rares here any minute now. We have our second shrine. Get my hand out of the way there. We have our second shrine here, Honden of Night's Reach, which is a legendary enchantment shrine for black and 3 that reads, at the beginning of your upkeep, target opponent discards a card for each shrine you control. Again, the Shrine Tribal thing. Shrines care about other shrines. Moving on here to what I think might be the final uncommon, which is Lure, a good old-fashioned reprint. It's an aura for 2 green and 1 that reads, all creatures able to block enchant a creature must do so. And these last 3 should be our rares. We go with Ryusi, the Falling Star, which is one of the iconic dragons of the set. For red and 5, you get a 5/5 flyer that reads, when Ryusi, the Falling Star, is put into a graveyard from play, it deals 5 damage to each creature without flying. It's seen reprints a few times in some master sets. Our next one here is Ben Aki Hermit, 2 red and 2. It's a legendary Goblin Shaman it's a 1/1 rather, that says tap, Ben Aki Hermit deals damage to target attacking creature equal to the number of untapped mountains you control. So this one really does not want you to tap your mountains for anything. And then finally, we have the Hair Strung Kodo with beautiful art, once again by Rebecca Guai. This is a 6 casting cost artifact that reads, tap an untapped creature you control. Target player puts the top card of his or her library into their graveyard. So it's a milling artifact there, really high cost one. And so there you go, thereabout you have it. $30 on this starter deck, roughly, about $5 maybe in value. So not exactly a very fruitful pull here, but very interesting and neat to see these cards that have not seen print in at least a decade, I would say, probably more than that. So I hope you enjoyed the video. My name is Barry White here with Magic Untapped. If you like what we do here on Magic Untapped, please give us a subscription and ring a bell for the notifications here on YouTube, and support what we do on Patreon, patreon.com/magic-untapped. It's through the support from people like you that lets us do what we like to do. Thank you very much for watching.